do it, what's right, and also what is the fear that's like stopping us sometimes from doing what's right. Maybe the insecurity or worry about money, or something that actually drives us to do what we know is not quite right. So this whole aspect of karma came up, and I think it was a very deep conversation. I felt it could have continued all day if we had had the chance. But again, everyone was so aware, like really on the ball, really thinking deeply. And I know that that's the speciality of India, that's why all of you are here.
Great, thank you very much. I'm feeling fairly intimidated being on the same stage as you actually, because you know, where I come from, if you come across any particularly difficult problem, in order to make it sound less difficult, the way we say is, oh, don't worry, it's not brain surgery. And here I am on stage with a brain surgeon. So not only are you brainy, but I think you must have a very steady hand, and also probably a very steady mind. And so now I would like to ask you about your experiences yesterday, and just to give some description of what you did, and also, again, your insights that you got from yesterday's experience.
And Anthony, I must congratulate you that you are rightly focused for getting out the inside of every person. I was not, this was my first experience, I did not know how I will be dealt with. And the way you posed the questions, the way you allowed the interaction, that was marvelous. And I think this is out of some extreme degree of art of conversation which you have. Having said that, I must tell you that I had, unfortunately, I was called for a serious patient in VVIP, and I left. But for 2-3 questions I was there, and it was so spontaneous. Everybody was speaking truth. Truth is the one thing which I am convinced that truth is closer to the God, or one can say that God is truth, or truth is God, or it is interchangeable. So from that point of view, if in conversation is loaded with truth, that makes the success absolutely apparent. And we were poor people, we did not know each other before you allotted us a place, and we were all forthright in confessions, in expressions, and in dialogues and substance both. I was there. I mean, immediately I shot the answer. I forgot your name.
Annie, that's Annie, yes.
Annie. And she told some very interesting things. I told very interesting things. And one question was, your first question was that which incident had been...
That's right.
Very...
and it made a difference in your life, changed your life, yes.
So I immediately got the answer. The answer was that a patient whom I dismissed, I said that nothing can be done. After all, my talk will be focused around patient only because that is my life.
Yes.
This is 40 years plus in this profession. So most of the time it will be colored with that, don't mind it.
Of course.
But I must tell you that the situation where I dismissed totally to the relatives, they said that you go ahead, whatever is my fate is my fate. And within no time he was back to his, not only family, to his profession. And mine was not the first opinion. Even some doctor else who had seen has also opined the same way. So the question was that don't give up. You are not the judge. That is the one incident which has its full energy, full tank of energy in me, and I keep on working on that.
Fantastic. So remember, don't. Very much, Professor. Let me now turn to you, Melissa. You are from America, and I've actually known you for quite a few years. We actually met, well, it may have been in the States, but it may have been in India. I know your husband. I know a little bit of your background. You're an entrepreneur. You're a mother of 4 children. You seem to me to have lived about 5 lives in one. And you're currently very much involved in developing a new business, and you are also deeply interested in spirituality. And you very kindly agreed to come and join us yesterday and add your vibration and your intellect to the conversation. So I'd like to just start by asking you to share your experience and any insights that you got out of yesterday's experience.
I to be invited. Thank you. My impression yesterday was, I come from Los Angeles. It's a city of entertainers and that business, and my husband's in that business. And I was impressed that the first thing I saw was the video that we were shown as a group that we saw tonight. And with an actor who I met in Los Angeles. I think his name is Amita.
Bachchan, yeah, Amita Bachchan.
Yes, I met him in Los Angeles. So I was very impressed. But I'm also, one of my degrees was in geography. And I learned a lot about archaeology. So when they began to talk about it being a very old civilization, and my interest in India, I know it actually goes back much more than 5,000 years, but 5,000 years was when the intellect really began to be determined here. And many of the artifacts that were found from the Harappan or Indus Valley civilization digs that were done in Western India show the yogi sitting in a position of meditation. So I immediately, when they talked about that, was, yes, I understand, I know that, and it's a pull to me to be around people in a civilization that's so conscious. But I was also impressed with the level of the intellect of the guests that were there. The sharing was beautiful, thank you, and inspiring. So I felt inspired.
Were there any particular...
Yes, of course. I think the discussion and conversation is about power. And I think power, as we know, having taken the Brahmakumaris, the course, 10 years ago from Sister Nikki, one of those is about power. And it's about power, though, that's not of the physical nature, not of domination and control. It's a different kind of power, a power of purity and benevolence. And that was something that I saw among the participants, was also that deep understanding of true power. In my country, so often it's about a different kind of power.
Great, yeah, that's a very nice insight. Okay, well now look, we don't have too much. Annie, I'd like you're somebody who you're currently working in India, and you work with a spiritual organization, and you're very tuned in to, shall we say, spirituality. And you also have really spent a good part of your life mixing up with India and the Indian culture. And you know that tonight we've been talking about the future of power, the future of India. And I wonder if you on behalf of the rest of the human race, could give just a message to India about what your insight is about India and why it is, how it is that spirituality makes a difference and what it will do.
I have experienced how Bharat is a mother to me. And I first experienced that 30 years ago when I landed here. And it was from the faces of the people here, the love in their eyes, the feeling of brotherhood that I felt when I first arrived. And this is before I started meditating, before I had anything to do with Brahmakumaris. The people of India is what India is. And Bharat Mother India has been sustaining the human race and all the animals and the environment for generations and generations. I speak to people in Europe every day. This aspect of India. On the other hand, they want to know also, they ask, when I see Indian people, I see their faces are very happy and there's something about India and the people's spirituality, their love for God, their love for family. You know, it's in the world as a leader, people are looking towards India now. What kind of leader will India become? One is that side, the physical side. People need a spiritual leader, some people to look at and say, yes, you know, they know how to live life. So this has been my experience, and I feel that the two have to go together. The development of India, business, you know, that side, physically, science, technology, but also the maintaining of the values and spirituality that I have seen, and people have been coming here for the past, I don't know how many years, hundreds of years, to find spirituality here. So this is actually a huge responsibility of India, and what is India but the people who live in India? So how can, I'm going to say we, I hope you don't mind because I also live in India. How can we maintain that spirituality and actually increase it so that people of the world look at India and feel, yes, we want to also be the same as that. We want to be spiritual, we want to be virtuous, we want to have values and culture like India has. So India becomes a leader on both sides. So this is my feeling, and this is actually what this program is about. The future, what kind of power are we going to focus on and develop in India?
Fantastic. Of spirituality in your life, in your professional life, in your practical life, and following any insights you've got from yesterday or anything from the consideration of this idea of spirituality, how are you going to live in the future?
Speak in one sentence and I can dilate upon it for some more time. Am I allowed to?
You may. If you go on too long, it's my job to shut.
I do not operate upon any patient without worshipping God. Whenever I am operating or doing or dealing with patient problem, treat. Earlier it started with fear. But now I got convinced that the moment I shed off my ego, that I am the doer, everything is solved. So if I owe the problem to the God, if I put myself and patient to the God, I am performed without any right in my adrenaline or you can say the restlessness or anxiety. I'll go by according to the already laid down things, and I will be energized to cope with any eventuality.
So you become the instrument.
Yeah, it is spiritual. And I can tell you, if I want to dilate upon this thing, I don't know whether you are aware or not, but Gita teaches the same. I may be permitted to speak something in Sanskrit. Yogastha kurkarmani sangastatva dhananjay siddh siddhyoni samabhutva samatvam yogacha. Meaning by that whether you lose or you gain, you remain balanced in your mental. And that is how, that is what is known as yogastha. That means you are united with God. Yoga means union with God. And that is an absolute serene atmosphere or serene ambience of your brain. I'll just exemplify with this thing. Suppose two students, they appear for an exam. The one tops, the other fails. The top one goes for a beer shop, drinks, zigzag on a mobile, hits the car and dies. The failure one feels that he gone now, he doesn't have any future and commits suicide. What is the result? The result is death in the both cases where the results were apparently different for the family. And this was because the brain was not balanced. They tagged themselves with the success and failure, not with the performance. And that is where I take the spirituality within myself.
Yes. Thank you very much about spirituality in your life. I am calm. I am a soul. All is well. You have taken up spirituality in your life, and here amongst friends, we can be a bit spiritual. But you have to go home to Los Angeles. And what I would like to know is, are you open about your spirituality in your life? And if you are open, how do you integrate it into your work, into your decision making? Just tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Now.
Hold it up to your mouth there again.
Is this good?
Yeah.
Okay. A few years back, I had decided to go back to the work that I had done before I had children. And my children now being grown, I felt that it was time. I am a designer, a fashion designer, and I knew that I didn't want to be a contributor to the environment, to the negative impact that that business and that culture has on the environment and the degradation of our environment. So I began to read and do my due diligence and determined that I wanted to do it eco-friendly. Anything that I would do, I would want to support the environment. I would want to set up a nonprofit for a portion of what I do to go back into that environment. And what I discovered through what people call the gold standard of the design business or fashion business was that India was the #1 country with the most mills, meaning where the fabric is treated and processed, and thank you, and manufacturers who care, who actually received this gold standard by an organization out of Washington, D.C. There are more here than anywhere else in the world. And that was perfect because my heart is here. My spirituality belongs here. And so that was perfect. And lo and behold, in this process of looking for this, an Indian man approached me. I'd met his wife through the Brahmakumaris. Okay. And he said, I am from Jaipur, and I am interested in hearing what you have to say. And I told him about what my ideas were, and he said, I think it can happen. So this trip, I came, working as well as playing and attending this, and visiting my ultimate teacher, Daddy Janki, who is the head of the Brahmakumaris. So through this process, I've been able to create a business that I can find the fabrications that I need that have been recycled and upcycled and processed in a way that's environmentally friendly. In Bhopal, in Banswara, there are others. And I'm now going to, tomorrow, I'm leaving, and also very interested to do this, and also has received this gold standard. So I feel very, very blessed to have made this connection and to be able to work here and be able to manufacture and be a part of an industry that's making a change. It's not happening in the United States, but I'm going to be there. And we're going to make that change with the help of India.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I just want to, because when spirituality is fashionable, then it's okay to be spiritual. This is what we must all do. So I want to thank all of you once again for participating and allowing what we did yesterday to become more easily understood and known by everybody here. So please give them a great round of applause, and if I can invite you to go back to your seats. Thank you so much. And
Up can say hey.
thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, so we've heard all about your destiny. Do you know what your destiny is? Do you know? Whether you like it or not. Really? You will lead the world. Now the thing is, how are you going to do it? Now I'm an Englishman, and you know a few hundred years ago they were leading the world. And you were at the brunt end of it. Perhaps I was in a previous birth here living in India, so don't blame me. The Western way, the old-fashioned way, through fear and greed and guns, this may not be the best way. We know that the culture of India, the history of India, has some amazing secrets that you are now positioned to share, not only in your own subcontinent, but in the whole world. And so now I'd like to invite back onto the stage Mr. Nizar Juma, who's just going to take you through a few thoughts to make this whole idea